Hey, what's up? It's me, your girl E, coming to you today. I'm excited because finally we got my brother from another mother, a writer's block extraordinaire. He is part of our urban fiction section of writer's block. We publish all sorts of genres. We have, of course, fiction, love stories, romance, children's books, poetry, motivational, um, informative books, and we got the urban fiction. He has two books with us. We are talking about his latest book that was published in February. It is called Bust Up. All right. And I want to give a big shout out to my sister from another mister. She agreed to be on the cover. As soon as I told her, um, she was like, "Yeah." I said, it's kind of hood, it's kind of ratchet, it's kind of nasty. She's like, "Sign me up." And so I was beyond excited when she said yes. And I convinced this gentleman that say, listen, my sister is bad. She's beautiful. She's fierce. Please slide this woman to be on the cover. And he was like, I trust you. Mm. I said, say less. All right, listen, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others because this man needs an introduction all the way in Alabama, where it's actually said it's cold in Alabama. So this winter is taking a toll on the U.S. He is in Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to author Didymus. Hey, what's up, my fam?
Hey, what's up, Ev? How you doing today?
How are you? Is your volume up?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Can you hear
Make
me now?
sure mine is up so we can hear you.
Oh,
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm actually putting some work in, trying to get you another project.
That's what I like to hear.
I'm probably further than halfway.
That's what I like to hear. Look at this beautiful cover.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I want to give a shout out to my sister for doing that right there for
I'm about to tag her in Facebook. Hold on.
me.
In a second. I'm gonna hold on. Let me tag her real quick. I'm about to.
I'm about to tag
It
her in
won't. It
Facebook.
won't let me share, but I'll figure it out because me and technology. Sometimes it takes a minute, but I'll tag her. Um,
I totally understand.
Nikki, Nikki Thomas. She is the owner of Sophisticated Hair Designs by Nikki. She's in Pittsburgh. If you need your wig snatched, your edges laid, go see her because she has a beautiful atmosphere, very welcoming atmosphere.
Right.
Um, so I'm just excited about it. All right, so let's talk about Bossed Up. Now, of
Oh,
course, I know the inspiration behind it, but just share with others your inspiration. And I'm going to step out the camera and let you take the floor.
okay. My inspiration for boss stuff is, everything I write comes from the life itself and my experiences in it. But I put black women in a position of power in this story because I don't think in this society our black women get the credit that they deserve for us being where we are. This strictly opinionated, and this is my story. So, from my viewpoint, I just wanted to do something to show that even in this lifestyle that our society deem as the lower, even in that lifestyle, our black women still carry much of the load. And I just wanted to do a story showing the potential, the and something that just indicated the real uh position of our black women in every aspect of our black lives, whether you in the streets, whether you're not in the streets. The story is from the viewpoint of streets, but if it fits, it's a shoe that fits more than 1 foot. So check it out. Go on the website and check it out, man. Get you a copy of that boss stuff because it says a lot, and it's a message that you want to get to your sisters, even if it's delivered, from the viewpoint of street life.
So by it being the word, I guess using, I share it. I don't want to share it lightly because fiction is fiction. Writing is you're telling a story. considering the subject matter of the book, um, it's definitely it's definitely gritty. It's definitely raw. It's definitely sexually explicit. Um, and you're saying that you're giving us, as Black women, our credit, our due, being the pioneers and the bosses that we are. How would you express to somebody who has a different views on the Black woman being strong?
I would say they should have some kind of connection. If they don't have a connection to that lifestyle, they not gonna get nothing I say anyway.
A
You
connection to the life. Wow. So that's deep because yeah, because I mean, now, okay, I'll say this. What would you consider a connection? Did I know
um,
somebody to know somebody to know somebody? Like 6 degrees of separation?
it could be that if it depends on what it is that you know and how serious it is and how serious you are about respecting it. Not it respecting it don't mean agreeing with it. Respecting it don't mean liking it. Just try to have something of an understanding to whatever it is, whatever this intel is you have. Imagine what if somebody does live like that? What if? If you're not even able to give it a what if, you ain't gonna get nothing. I say, if you could, if you can open yourself up to say, what if that is the case? You know, and anybody that can do that will find the blueprint in this, because if you got any person that's connected to this lifestyle. Now mind you, like the question, to answer your question, what would I consider a connection? What if let's see, what if okay, me, you don't live this lifestyle, why would you give me a chance to put this on your platform? You ever experienced anything about this? Anybody that you can put your hands on? You can say they did this, or live through any of this. If you have, that's the connection. You ain't never been in the atmosphere with me except for through these books. So why would you give me that platform? From where our geographical difference. You there and I'm here. What do you know about me? Why would you even give me this opportunity?
Well, the purpose of writer's block, um, it started out with just me. I'm the author, and a friend of mine, she lives in Baltimore. Her husband wrote a children's book, and it was more, of course, he drew the illustrations. I didn't know the first thing about publishing or anything like that. Um, and I wanted to help them just get published. You know what I mean? Because he was an artist. He had pictures and paintings and things like that. And I did say years prior to even branding my name, before the E. Davis was even manifested,
Mm-hmm.
I just said maybe one day I'll run a publishing company, and I had the name. It was going to be Writer's Block Publishing. But then getting out there, when I started branding E. Davis, meeting people who wanted to get published, because I was published with an online company that went under. Meeting people that wanted to get published, it was like, wow. I would refer to them to the publishing company that I was going through. I met this gentleman, Justin Scott Parr. His mother, Leslie Parr, is a friend of mine on Facebook. I want to give a shout out. Hey, Miss Leslie. Um, when I met her through another mutual friend, Miss Levon. And Miss Levon is like an auntie to me because she was my actual aunt's best friend. My aunt is the godmother to her son. So
Okay.
little backstory. But Miss Levon had messaged me I think right before Christmas of 2015, and she said, "I want you to come meet this guy that is Amazon's bestseller." And I was like, "Oh, yep." And he was at the Homewood Library. It's a library in Pittsburgh. Um, and I came to him. It was like a nice little following. Wasn't of course overcrowded, but it was nice. and he had children's books about a young girl named Sage Carrington. He was inspired by his goddaughters and nieces, and it was a little black girl that did math and science, and it started out with her, um, say in junior high, solving mysteries using her math and science skills. And you don't see enough of us doing that. He was inspired. So then what he was doing was doing the backstory for her, making it even more of a children's book for the babies, like the baby girls, like 3, 4, 5 years old. And again, using the science and math skills, she was studying about her curl pattern of her hair, looking at butterflies, how the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. Um, I'm just, I mean, it was very, very genuine, and he can present this to the schools. And he said that when he wanted to publish his book, there wasn't a platform for him, and we already knew why there wasn't a platform. Um, and after his presentation and talking about his book and doing a reading, he and I introduced myself and I said, "Listen, um, I don't know if you're from Pittsburgh. This is my I was eh, um invited here by a family friend. I'm a student. Teach me what you did because I know I'm an author. I know I'm a writer. I've been writing since I was 8 years old. Those follow me. They know my story. Um, I want to be a bestseller on Amazon. I want to write for a living. I want to. This is my passion. This is my call." And he said, "Who's your publisher?" And I told him, and he was like, "No, start your own publishing company." I said, "Don't need to be like on Oprah's level to do." He's like, "No, because you would go through. It's now KDP Publishing, but it was Create Space. It's you get your books at a wholesale price, and you of course you charge your retail. That's how you make your money, and it goes on Amazon and the shipping. It takes like maybe 2 weeks shipping. I had to miss out on um events, opportunities to promote my book, to sell my book for like events and book signings because the cost of print with this publishing company was expensive, and the shipping it took like almost 3 weeks to a month. And of course, anybody that's in the business is an independent contractor, especially if you're doing any type of direct sale, you need to have inventory. So, but it was too expensive to even get the inventory. So, um, that night, it was December 26th of 2015, Writer's Block was conceived. I'll say that it was conceived. And I got the EIN number and I went ahead and I sold the E. Davis books I sold, purchased the LLC for Writer's Block. And I said that I went to my friend in Baltimore. I said, I can publish your husband's books. Okay. So we worked on that. I studied that. Writer's Block is to give a platform for authors. Now, we do not publish everybody's work, especially if it's on a content that is not edifying, content that that's not empowering, content that is demonizing. We're not going to do that. As a professional author writer, you have to have real content. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a true story, but I'm not just going to publish anything just for the sake of publishing it. And I've turned down many people, and many people have turned me down. And again, that's fine. You know what I mean? But that's why Writer's Block. I remember you reached out to me on Facebook, and I said, let's talk. I don't judge the writer. I don't judge the lifestyle, but can you deliver a story? Because writing is a gift. Right? Writing is an art. um you got to paint, you got to tell the pictures with your words. It's five senses: taste, hear, sight, smell, and touch. You have to describe all that in your writing instead of painting it or drawing it, and
Right.
you was able to deliver that in your work. That's why we're like states away. We can communicate this way, and I'm honored that you chose Writer's Block because you became the first sale outside of Pittsburgh because that's where I'm located. So you made Writer's Block national.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
wasn't just oh, okay, let's publish his stuff. No. And again, it's a great story. You know what I mean? And now the lifestyle, so to speak, growing up, um I was never part of the lifestyle. My parents definitely sheltered me. I knew people in the lifestyle. I knew people, not personally, but I knew of in the lifestyle. I've
Mm.
watched.
Hey, Yeah, do you know anybody who got pregnant young, 15, 16?
Yeah, younger.
You connected then.
Yeah, younger. A friend of mine, she was 12,
You
first baby.
imagine, can you imagine the same things that put her in that position, put a person in the position to sell drugs, it'll put a person in the position to get in a gang, everything, anything, whatever her story is, I don't know it or care to know it, but whatever made your friend get in the position to be having a child at that age will do the same, will affect the same way in any aspect of what I call street life.
That's beautiful because then this is now telling people don't judge based off of what you see
That's
because you don't know what happened. You don't know if that child was raped. You don't
that,
know if
that,
she was um forced
that's
to marry. I mean, think of these countries that still doing arranged marriages. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Marrying a, you know what I mean, 16, 17 business arrangements marriages.
right,
Um, and then there's women that I know who may not had a child at a teenage age, but were abandoned and were single
right,
mothers.
right.
Experience that I don't have a choice. I have to sell drugs and make this money. I have to prostitute myself to feed
Yeah,
my kids. So I appreciate that information to help me connect
yeah.
because my friend personally, I don't know the details of her backstory. I just know that the circumstances of her life just was not the traditional pleasant family.
Let me show you your connection a little clearer. Whatever the details were, she probably didn't ask for it.
I get it.
Some of these guys out here didn't ask for this dope gang. Some of these guys out here didn't ask for these gangs to rally around you. Some black boys are literally born with hand to hand skill. So to that degree, what would how could he be blamed? Cause the average gang member say, "Oh man, he banging." He may not have had any attraction towards them. So everybody that's wearing these flags, some of those guys are serious about this. Some of those guys and our society might look at it as him being a coward, but if I'm gonna just say that because it just sound. I don't care how it is. I'm just gonna say this, but
Say it.
the same uh method that these guys use that you call that say we in a gang, the same methods of defense and survival that they use, every single police force across this country uses it.
Wow.
Every single one of them. There is not a police force in this country that won't say such and such backup. And they don't care if the person on the other end of that walkie talkie that's calling for backup is right or wrong.
So, Boston, that's heavy. So, Boston. So, this is to celebrate a strong woman, a woman that is a persevere, a woman that stays up late, gets up early.
And is incapable of being distracted from what she know of her man and what she knows her man knows of her and what she knows of herself, because there's a lot of things that this woman is asked to do in this book that some might say makes her this or makes her that, or some might disagree with her doing. But I try my best in those situations to explain what this person is thinking when they doing this kind of stuff. That's how come my stories uh, probably I'm pretty sure some pretty close followers or readers of mine understand how my stories are usually told by people in the story. That's who usually narrate my stories is the characters. That make a person feel whether the story is true or not. It's easier to relate because if this person who's doing this is telling you, explaining what's going on around the action, if it's one of the people that's in the action, it's easier to take. It's even easier to be entertained by it if a person that's connected to it is telling you about it.
No, I definitely I like that because when you hear other people's stories, you're like, what? No, oh my, what did you do? And how did you like, and sometimes we're just stuck on the idea of the nonsense that
Yeah,
placed us in a situation, or we're stuck on the idea of of why that person endured or stayed or continue, like, you know what I mean? But the thing is like, we have to be uh open-minded to understand
all right.
the back the backstory.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to understand. Some of us are afraid to understand because they feel like to understand is to agree.
I get that.
Some people won't let themselves even say, they won't let themselves understand, and they not gonna let themselves say I understand. Cause that's too, they feel like that's saying he right or she right.
I've understood situations in people's lives. I've understood reasons, but I didn't agree. I'm like, I definitely didn't agree with it, but I got, like, I get it. I mean, your reasoning makes complete sense. I definitely I get that on so many levels in other people's lives. I even have my own reasons on why I move the way I move, why I think the way I think. And I honestly don't want people to agree with it. I just want them to understand it.
All right, all right.
Because whether you agree or not, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
That's right. That's
I'm going
all
to
you.
move the way. I mean, I'm not going to do anything, of course, that's demonizing or damaging or compromising or immorally, and put myself in a moral situation where it's like, why'd you do that? But it definitely makes sense. And a lot of women, especially us Black women, are placed in situations that we have no choice but to fight. And I'm not talking about, fighting. I'm
Right.
talking about, like, think of the old school marriages back in the day. Think of, you stayed with that man, you stayed with your husband knowing that he was abusing you, knowing that um he was going to the bar after payday and drinking up the money, and you got babies at home that need to be fed, knowing that he's cheating on you. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine a few weeks ago about Joe Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and we've all, we laughed about it, Tito, whatever, and we even laughed and kind of looked at Mike like, what are you doing? Like, your face, and we all get it. We all get it. We all know the backstory. He didn't have a childhood. They called him ugly, especially growing up, and he had acne, so he wanted, we get it. Um, I was watching a Janet Jackson documentary it's on Hulu, it's still on Hulu, and I don't think she had the same relationship with her father that the boys, her brothers, had. Because she's the youngest, so by the time she really got a grip on anything, they was famous. But she definitely understood that he sacrificed the father relationship of his children so they could be where they are. Because a real, I don't want to use the word real parent, but it's a parent's job to take care of the child, teach the child to be independent. So by the time they're between the time of 18 and maybe 25, they have a sense of independence. They know how to look for a job. They know how to um, maybe get a house or an apartment. Some get married young, and go live off with their spouses and have children. And of course, the parents is there in the background to lend a helping hand. And I mean, and some parents kind of overdo it where the kid don't move out. I mean, we all have seen that. But Joe Jackson, I believe, initially separated himself because of the vision he had to get out of Gary, because he was stuck because Catherine got pregnant before marriage, whatever. That he wanted to get out. He been wanted to get out. He's like, okay, I mean, I love her, so I plan on marrying her. We put the cart before the horse, so it's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And that's most relationships. Okay, and then one baby comes, the next baby comes, and he doesn't believe in birth control, and we all laughed about that. Like, hey, you ain't gonna just be laying them get me pregnant. Sometimes, if you even think about the nature of birth control, is to um mess up the natural flow of your system. Okay, and like I'm a pro life type person. I don't condemn anybody that's not. I just feel that I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to put anything in my body, have a surgically implanted to stop the natural course.
I heard that.
Okay, now that's another day, another conversation. And again, to each their own. Again, I get, like I said, we understand why you move the way you move. I just don't have to agree. Okay,
Right,
but he disconnected so he can shift.
right.
And it wasn't that he didn't love his children. He just couldn't be daddy, because if I'm daddy, then I might not want to get up and go to work. I may want to stay home with these babies. If I'm daddy, I won't provide the discipline that I need to do, because you got your puppy brown eyes looking at me knowing that you did something wrong and I can't discipline you. And the neighborhood was brewing with gangs and questionable characters, so he had to shield his children from that. And when the opportunity came to build a group, he saw his way out. So he's like, you have to be on point because we have to get out of here.
Was that on Janet's documentary?
That's what I got out of it.
Oh, okay, because I haven't watched it.
So I don't know if you have Tubi. I don't know if you do, it might still be on. The Jackson American Dream that came out in the 90s. Um, it was a mini series that came out in the 90s. In fact, Terrence Howard played. He was extremely young.
Oh,
Um, but that's what I got out of it. But what I got out of Janet's was he could he couldn't be daddy. He had to be,
I can see that in what I know about them. I can see that.
because um of course when Michael Jackson died, Joseph was living. You're burying your son. I don't care what the relationship with a parent. You're burying your son. You may not be as emotional as a mother, you may not be emotional as the other family members, but a part of you has died.
Was he emotional?
Well, he's not an emotional guy, so he doesn't show the emotion naturally. But you don't know if he cried at night. You don't know what the conversation was,
Right.
the conversation between him and God. But I know that despite our views on him, despite what the media has uh, portrayed him to be, he lost a child. He lost a son. Michael, yeah, he's 50 years old. That's still my baby. That's still my son. And
Right.
even though I could not be daddy, you know what I mean? I chose not to, because I I'm not staying here. And if it means you not calling me daddy and calling me Joseph, so we can figure out, me
Yeah,
and my wife can figure out how to get out of this city.
yeah,
Now,
I can totally respect that and understand that. I
so
can.
do we agree with it? Maybe not, but do we understand it?
Yeah, yeah, we totally understand that. You have to sometimes you have to transport to a different level of life, and a good a good vehicle in transportation is what you're referring to, what you being called. You know, I mean, you could. you could be of age and be called a boy so long you have a tendency to do immature stuff.
Baby boy.
Yeah, exactly. So it can also work the other way. You could have been a boy when your parents was referring to you, in a way, treating you in a way that a man should only be treated, and you took on that role sooner. You
Yeah.
know, so it just that's just what hear you saying about him. He had to be this title or that title, and he gonna respond to them in one of those ways. So he made sure he was at this title over here because it took this to get this over here to be successful.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people don't get it because he was always Joseph from I think Reeby's the oldest child.
Yeah,
So from time he started having babies, he was always Joseph. But I think it's because he had a vision to leave Gary, but because Catherine, he got Catherine pregnant, and that delayed the transition. I can't be daddy, right? I just can't be daddy.
right.
I'm going to be the provider. I'm going to make sure I go to work and that you and the babies eat.
And he did that.
I just can't be daddy because daddy's going to want to be at home with the baby girl and with the kids. Daddy's going to want to do this. And I can't put myself here because I won't go there because I'll be delayed. And if you think about, a lot of people have the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I should have did this. I could have did that. I would have done that.
Yeah,
And I'm I'm listening to this prophet Tomi Arami. He was like, if you're still in the should, you will stay broke. If you're still in the one day, you're not gonna have any. You're not gonna have money. You're not gonna be prosperous because we've all wanted to start our own business. Okay, one day, or we all want to go back to school one day, and then one day leads to the next day, and then the next day leads to next year, and then before you know it, you're 60, 70 years old, and you know what I mean. My brother had a bucket list. I didn't even know about this. He was in his 20s, had a bucket list, and when he got with his now wife, they traveled. They hit the streets. They of course they went to I think the Dominican Republic. They went to Spain. They went to Dubai. They went to Africa. They went to um the one place, I think that's Dominican Republic, where Rihanna, she does, where she's wearing the feathers and she's dancing in the streets with the community. It's like the festival. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
Uh, but what I'm
and,
saying is now here's the thing. Now they have children, so their travel plans are delayed because they got babies. So it's like, okay, let's settle here for a little bit, but they have an assignment.
yeah,
And that's what I admire about my brothers because this is the assignment for right now. Okay. So let's focus on the assignment so we get, to the next assignment.
right.
And what I like about you is, as an author, you're like, this is the assignment. So you reached out to a publisher. This is my assignment. All right, cool. And we published a book and we did our thing. And you reached out to me. I have another assignment, bossed up. And you talked about the assignment in the book. You talked about the assignment.
Yeah,
Women have an assignment to not only be women, but to be the mothers, the nurturers. So, and
exactly.
now, in certain cases, they're providers.
And you know what? The thing that it's a big issue with me nowadays is that some people who are destined to be a power piece, they have a problem with opposition. I
Yeah.
don't, I mean, some people don't get that you the one that can handle this, so you the one that's getting it. You know that
So, will the man have a problem that his woman's making more money or doing better?
it it's some stuff to go with that. Air. It's I don't want to say mean, but I'm gonna say more than likely most men, more men than not, got a problem with their woman making more money than them if their woman is more manly than them.
Is that ego? Would that be ego? Because if it's coming to the same house, what's the problem?
The problem is the end of that scenario. I said they got a problem with it if she's more manly than them.
You mean in
I mean, don't some women don't even like being a woman because they are in whatever way superior to the man. So if it's got a higher education, if it's got a more money, if it's either one or something like that, uh you cannot degrade the man. You cannot reverse positions because of money. You
you
can't.
definitely shouldn't do that as a woman
Right, that's what I'm
to your
saying.
man. But here's the thing. I believe that's training and teaching from a better woman.
How about that? How about that?
Because if I bring more money home to my husband, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Well, I bring home the money." I no, that's
Right.
I wasn't raised like that.
Or even if y'all have an argument that's unrelated to money, just because you know you are right without him, do you stand up in that argument and just go hard? Just because you don't care what the decision come to.
That's the training and teaching of a better woman. I was raised by independent women. My mother raised me. She was married to my father. Um my mother made sure my dad, they both worked. My mother made sure and taught me how to cook to make sure there was dinner ready for him. And here, like this is how she made sure that my dad eat. It could be chicken. It could be the legs, thighs, um, breast, wings. When I ate meat, I liked chicken breast. And if there was one breast, guess who's eating our breast?
Dad.
Yep. I'd be like, ah, because
Ah,
I didn't like the dark meat. I didn't like the legs or the thighs. And I was just, I'm like, are you for real? Put that chicken on the plate. No, no, no.
I mean,
And
and if she being like that, and especially if he's a strong, man to her, and he ain't just big boy in her just because he's a male figure, those two can go together.
no, right. But see, what's happening is, um, or what has happened is these women are scorned from either watching their parents go through something. Well, I wouldn't, not when I get married. I'm not,
Yeah,
okay. And their mother can be, of course, subservient to the dad. Like, okay, cooking, cleaning, whatever, sex, whatever. And that girl could think, nah, nah. And maybe the father can seem dismissive. Maybe the father can be condescending. And after the mother did so much for the dad, daughter's looking like he ain't even appreciated it. You know what I mean? But the mother's cool. Hey, listen, long as he bring home the money, long as he come home to me, whatever, I'm good. He ain't got to listen. I did, what I mean? Again, who knows? You know what I
right.
mean? Um, like I said, both my parents worked. My dad had two jobs. Okay. And there was dinner. There was dinner. In fact, my mother would be on the phone with her girlfriends, just gossiping, talking about nothing. Yeah, girl, and then she'll say, hold on. And then she'll get back on the phone, girl, I gotta go. It was my dad. And I'm thinking like, he don't want nothing. No, because he's calling on his break. You know what I mean? But the thing was, she got off the phone for her man.
Right, right.
Okay. And what I'm saying is, a lot of these women who was taught to be bitter, okay,
Yeah,
you can lose your relationship all because of somebody else's teaching. Like, you can have a woman that's scorned by a divorce, whatever the reason it was divorce. He cheated, didn't bring her home the money, whatever, and she's Miss Money, I could pay for it myself. I don't need a man to buy me no house. I don't need a man to buy me no car. I don't need a man to take care of my house. I could pay for it myself. I don't need a man. And she keep talking this talk and having a little nasty attitude and whatever. She go wake up being by herself, and then she's teaching her granddaughter, her niece, her daughter to be bitter. So then when the daughter gets of age and starts dating or whatever and meets a guy, and the guy say he's not the blue collar type of dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, you're not on my level, but yet you're dismissing the fact that this is a good guy that will
Right.
love you unconditionally despite your flaws."
All right. I, s-
Okay?
uh, my bad. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I mean I'm just saying some like that's unhealthy teaching, and that's an unhealthy that's
I,
poison. That's
I,
the epitome of poison. And for bossed up, this is not to make women feel like you don't need a man. It's to help to encourage women that in the situation that you're in,
I
you need to
appreciate you
level up
saying
to be that team player.
exactly. I appreciate you saying that because that is a large part of that picture. That's a large part. I don't want my sisters to get it twisted, just like you saying. Don't get it twisted. This is not to say that don't need me. You know, I just want y'all to understand that I understand what you can do. And there's a plan that's a divine plan. There is a divine plan that includes me and you.
That's in fact, God made Eve to be a help meet
Yeah.
suitable for
So
Adam. So
yeah,
then he said, before he even created her, he said it's not good for man to be alone.
exactly.
Okay. Now, some people are better off single that just because their jobs, their work ethic, eh, they just they're loners, whatever. If that's your call, cool. But
Whatever
if
the case
you're
may
and
be,
say
what-
again,
whatever the case may be, why they alone, the same person. This is my belief. The same person in that condition, the same person in the condition that that person is in, that's married, will do better.
I think it works both ways. I've met women that been single, they never been married ever in life. They just thrive better being single because not that they chose a career over a relationship. It's just that their calling doesn't permit them to be married because they can't do what they are assigned to do, as opposed to somebody like I just believe it works. It's to me, it's equal.
Let me ask you this. Whatever is the reason for the person to not be able to be in a relationship, uh, could that lifestyle be lived by somebody that is in a relationship?
No,
Okay.
because you need to answer to both. It is not a dominating type answering. It's a check-in. It's just a respectable check-in. Um, like while we were 5 minutes ago, my husband was calling me. I couldn't answer because we're live, and I just messaged him. I'm live. What? No, he's not going to come in here huffing and puffing. You answer my no. That's not what he's just going to do because he knew what my assignment was today. But
Right.
knowing him because he was running errands, he had something to do today. He was checking in, saying he's on his more likely on his way home. It's respectable check-in. Um,
Right.
and then when you choose to come together as husband and wife, you guys, put everything on the table. You talk about what's needed as far as the emotional, mental, spiritual needs, physical needs. You guys both have to come to an agreement. Okay. And if you guys can't come to an agreement, don't walk into the marriage thinking that, oh, well, she's going to change or he's going to change, because you can get your feelings hurt. Because then I already told you what it is, or this is what we already discussed, and now you're unhappy for the next 10, 15 years because that person just won't get it when it was already addressed upon entering the relationship.
Right.
Now,
I,
there's times in marriages where, say, there's a new assignment given, and you guys speak it up with your significant other, like, I just believe that this is what I'm called to do. That spouse should respectfully hear out the assignment and put a plan together.
Yeah.
Like my husband knew when we started, before we became an official boyfriend and girlfriend, that I'm an author. I'm wanting to build my brand. He knew that, and I knew that him being in construction, it's going to be long days.
Now I didn't do that, and you're right. It's mandatory. It's mandatory. I would never. I don't know how long it'll be before I lock in and not just be playing no game with somebody. But if I ever do, you talking about a serious conversation to be had.
Yeah, the conversation has to be had, because if you think about Bossed Up, she was feeling unappreciative. She
Right.
was feeling unvalued, and that
Yeah.
wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So those conversations, again, these are called check-ins. These conversations need to be had with the spouse, because you could go through a time frame and think, okay, well, he good. Okay, well, she all right. But there's an emotional turbulence.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not. You got me over here doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, no, that's not what I want. I want to come over here and focus on this venture, this whatever, and you're not hearing me.
And I think, well, I know another benefit of coming from the lifestyle that I come from
Hmm.
is I feel like I'm showing society that even in what society probably deems as the least worthy lifestyle, I'm showing them even in other lifestyles the message can be received that respect each other. This the message that me and you talking about fits any marriage in any other lifestyle. It ain't it's I can say it from this standpoint because this the one that I lived through, but as far as preacher, you know, you should be as attentive to your wife as we talking about this person here is, to recognize, certain things, or conversations that has have to be had. you know I think that the same thing fits any lifestyle.
It does. If it's every, especially in marriage. So if you're married and you guys is going about your day, he has a 9 to 5, she has a 9 to 5. You come home, cook dinner, spend time together, quality time, whatever. And then maybe 6 years into the marriage, so you got used to each other, you know each other's habits, patterns, whatever. 6 years into the marriage, he's called to be a pastor. There's a divine call, and she's like, "Oh, okay." There's definitely gonna be some turbulence, because she's gonna be like, "I'm not. No, I don't. Well, I
Right.
don't." And he's like, "I want to start hosting meetings at the house, and I want to." And she may go along with it. Okay, cool, whatever. This is what you're doing, whatever. The importance of, but here's the thing: on something like that, especially if it was never discussed in the initial conversation upon moving forward in a relationship, that happens. But this is why you guys have to do the emotional check-ins periodically in your marriage, because then she might hear in his voice, I just want to help people. I just want to be able to be there for people. Because by him continually saying that, and then next he gets this call on being a pastor. Well, he's been saying he wants to help people. He's been saying he wants to be there for people.
Yeah.
Pastor.
Yeah.
Okay. And if she didn't hear that, either she wasn't listening or paying attention, or they could be married for 6 years, whatever, and now she has this desire to go back to school to finish her. Say 2 years shy of finishing her master's, and she just whatever. First of all, again, that's a conversation that's held upon introduction. Yeah, I was in school. I went so far, I only get my bachelor's. I definitely thought about getting my master's, but the shoulda, woulda, coulda, as life happens, whatever. And then 6 years into the actual marriage, say a job opportunity came up, or uh, there's been because we're going to shift through seasons of our life. There are going to be stages in your life, rather from 40 to 50 or 40 to 45, whatever. where there's like a new quest, a new desire. Again, those check-ins is going to be like, I'm thinking about getting my master's degree. Okay, where all this come from?
Now, I think there's also a heavy responsibility on the listener as well in those situations.
There has to be, because when you're doing an emotional check-in, that person is pouring themselves out. Whether it could be something as water, and that's a physical need. But if they're saying I need water, there's a need, right? And if my spouse isn't listening to me, I need water, I need water, and you're saying, and again, I can just easily go give me a bottle. I have a bottle of water in my kitchen. I can easily go just get a bottle of water. But if I'm saying I need water, and you're either talking to me where I can't leave the conversation to go get some water, and it's something that simple, and I can easily say, "Hold on, let me go get some water." I mean, I mean that's. But if I'm saying I need water, go get me. I'm going to get some water.
Now, I also, because that's a problem with a lot of the guys that come from the street life. A lot of the times, we not accustomed to being attentive. We're not accustomed to that, listening
You're
to
attentive to
the.
what you want to be attentive to, because you're
Oh,
attentive to the street life. You're attentive to the
right,
money, and you're attentive to the business assignment. But when it
right,
comes down to your woman,
right. You're
if you
right.
think of if you read the book of Esther, okay, this in the Bible, there was a plot against the Jews. She was Jewish, but she didn't tell her husband, it was a king, that she's a Jew. So she was passing. Okay. And there's now a plot to kill the Jews. And she had to go to her husband, like, we you know what I mean? But she told her cousin, I just can't go to the throne unless I'm called, or else that's my head. Her cousin said, figure it out, because you're passing, and trust me, somebody know that you're Jewish and not saying nothing. Okay. So what she did was she spoke to his love language. Okay. He was a king, he liked opulence. So she got dressed up. She put the crown on, the clothes on, everything. And she was already naturally pretty. So she just didn't go to the throne any kind of way. She put on her apparel. And upon her training before marrying the king, when the eunuch asked her, what do you want to put on? She said, what do he like? Okay. Esther was raised by her uncle, her cousin, whatever. So she was raised by a man. So she was raised on how to please a man. Listen to your man. Okay. So when it came down to getting the apparel for her first night with the king, the eunuch said, well, what do you want to wear? She says, what does he like? So they said, well, he likes the, I want to give me that. Okay. So when she had to go, now she's the queen, she had to go with this now serious urgency. What did she put on? The clothes that he liked. Her crown, her beads, her shirt, her dress, whatever. And when he knew that she knew better, so he held out the scepter. But because she appeared to him physically pleasing, he like, what you need, baby? I'll give you half my kingdom. Because something's bothering you, because you about to risk your life. So something's okay. She just said, I just want to spend time with you. I want you to come over. I got a nice little feast, a festival, whatever. I just want to spend some time with you. So in other words, she let him know, I'm missing my man. Okay. So then after that, they sitting around eating, talking, fellowship, booed up, whatever. He said it again. Because he can't, I got stuff to do. What's going on? She's like, I want some more time. I miss you. Whatever. He's like, all right, I'll check you out tomorrow. The next day, he was like, are you good? You all right? I'll give you half my kingdom. What's the matter? That's when she told the plot. And because I don't want to use the word worked him, but she met him where he was at. She listened. She was able to get what she needed. And that was that plot to be um the person that was plotting to be taken down. Okay.
Can
What I'm saying is
I hold you up
people,
1 second? because the reason I interrupting because there's a part in the book that I got coming up where different women has that responsibility you just spoke on, and I use the word working, but I do want people to hear your uh explanation of the word working. It's not that no, it wasn't as much tricking as one wouldn't think about when you hear the word she working him or working the situation. I want people to know that that ain't
That
how
word,
that.
yeah, that word has been used to definitely in a form of manipulation, but
Oh,
that wasn't the case. The case is when you're in a relationship, you have to listen. And sometimes you're not listening to the words that are coming out of somebody's mouth. You listen to the body language. You're listening to the size at the end of the day.
right,
You're listening to um the energy in the atmosphere.
right.
Okay. And that's why I was saying in your type of the lifestyle you came out of, you chose what you wanted to hear.
Mhm.
Because you could be at a nightclub or whatever and something goes down, you feel that energy, so you're just like, yeah, let's leave because okay. And then you find out the next day that spot got shot up.
Yeah.
Okay. So but what I'm saying is if my husband is not verbally telling me something but something's going on, I can I'm tuned in to hear it, vice
Mhm.
versa.
I heard
There's
that.
times there's times when I'm sitting on the bed and I'm putting on the shea butter because I'm about to, go off from my day. And I'm like, oh, he's like, you okay? It could be a body ailment because you know what I mean? It could be I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay. That's paying attention.
Right. Right.
Okay. And that's the thing. And bossed up, that's basically she was saying, you're not paying attention to me. I
Right.
need you to pay attention. He's like, all right. And I don't want to give away spoilers, but we we see that she's the boss because it's been said that the man is the head but the woman's the neck. And again, it's not to control the man because it's not a controlling relationship. It's
Right.
about it's about moving together and in
Yeah.
sync.
And see, that's what I'm not sure. I know that's my intent, but I'm wondering how am I, getting towards that. I don't want I say certain things or I might illustrate certain things in the story, but I want people to have the equalness of it. You know.
We get it because it's more than just the man and his wife. It's the partners.
So I try my best to illustrate in the story that okay, he's saying this or he's doing this, and it's totally seems like his enjoyment, but her enjoyment is to be here with and for him. It's not to say that this is all she's capable of. It's not to say that she's restricted from anything but this.
Well,
No.
that's natural for some women to feel unappreciative or man to feel that's natural. That's natural because if I'm doing all this and you're not even saying thank you, if I'm this and that, and what I mean, I don't even get a birthday gift. It's just my birth. You know what I mean? Like I was binge watching the TV series Rock, right? And the first episode was Eleanor's birthday, and Rock got her. Rock he's a garbage man, so he would get all these stuff, thrown away items. He got her a used VCR that his friend was going to fix for her birthday, and his father he was a big so like
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him a black supremacist, but he was all about the black people of the power. And he got another picture of Malcolm X for her, and there was already like 3 pictures hanging up in the living room. And then Joey, Rock's brother, who's notorious gambler and really didn't have money, just he 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 came in the house. She fed him, she allowed him to stay in the house, and after they had a big argument because Joey actually got a better VCR. So he dismissed Rock's gift. And he came in, what he did was Rock gave him $20 to go get her a gift, but he took that 20 and flipped it on a horse. He gambled it. So he came in a grandstanding, just not in the to not to upset his brother, but it was offensive. So you're coming in my house offending my husband So what she said was, I would like, she's like, yeah, I'm definitely practical. Okay. But I would definitely want a gift that is not used or thrown away. And then she told her father-in-law, I would like another gift that is not another Malcolm X picture. Like, you get me the stuff that you want me to have, not things that I would want. And then she told her brother-in-law, you come in my house unannounced in the middle of the night, and I let you stay here. And even though, it's rocks in her house, but I'm letting you stay here knowing how important it is for you to be with your brother and your dad. But you totally dismissed the whole purpose of my birthday, to celebrate me. You made it about you. And the thing is, they didn't appreciate who she was, because if you appreciated who she was, then Rock would not continuously get her another throw. It was in the trash, basically, another thrown away gift. The father-in-law would not get another Malcolm X picture. That's something he'd keep in his room, not all through the house. Okay.
Right.
And Joey would have said, listen, I got a couple dollars. What do you want to do? It's your birthday. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I totally agree.
a lot of people in relationships, and it's easy. It's really easy to feel like that. You know what I mean? It's real easy to feel dismissed, unvalued. It's really easy. That's why I call it the emotional check-ins. How are you? How are you today? How was your day? What are you thinking? What do you need? Because sometimes you just need just to go to bed. Sometimes you just need a good night's rest. And sometimes you need a good cuddle. Sometimes you need a good hug. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
it's not always about the materialistic things. It's not always about the sex. It's about those one quick moment to say, you know what, I really appreciate this. Like, I ran around all day yesterday and I fixed dinner. And my husband knowing me knows I hate cooking late at night. So he said, where do you want to go eat at? Because it was about 8, 9 o'clock. And I was like, no, I'm good. We can just go to the store, get what we need for the house. I'll cook. You sure? Because I know it's late. Because he knows I don't like cooking at night. Because by a certain time, the kitchen's closed. Okay. I'm not cooking, I'm not sauteing, I'm not marinating, I'm not doing nothing. Okay. But I was okay with it. So I told him, I said, no, I'm fine. I'm all right. We go to the grocery store, we get everything we need, we come home. I work because I'm a little OCD. I gotta organize my fridge a certain way, blah, blah, blah. And I cooked dinner. And he said, thank you. Thank you for cooking. Now he could cook, but I'm one of those people. Get out my kitchen. But
Yeah,
he he said, thank you for cooking dinner. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Because that's technically an emotional check-in, because you're making sure I felt okay.
I
I
heard that.
told you I was okay, so let's go to the store, make it happen. And then we came home and we chilled. And by the time we were done eating dinner, it's 10 o'clock, and we did the dishes. In fact, while when I was eating, some of his food wasn't ready yet. He says, "Eat your food. I'll check on mine." So again, we were communicating in a way where he knew I was tired. He knew I would still serve him. He was like, "Listen, I got it. I'm good. I'm okay. Go on and eat your dinner." And that's why I'm bossed up. No, but that's
Okay, okay.
no, but I
Yeah.
want to thank you. I want to thank you. We was only supposed to be like 40 minutes, but this was a good conversation. I want to thank you because we definitely had some technical difficulties, but we made it happen. I want to thank you very much for joining. This will be posted on my Facebook page. I will share it to your Facebook page, and it's also on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. I want to give it a shout out to Starks Contracting LLC, of course, Writers Block Publishing LLC, and all those who took the time to view. What's your website?
Go to authordidymus.com.
Let me put that in the thing. W is it www author
Yeah,
did a I spelled
authordidymus.com.
Didymus. I can't even spell today. Didymus.
Didymus.
I got it. I was being a little goofy at
I
that
messed it up. I messed it up in the website.
point. I got you.
Author-
Authordidymus.com. He has two books, The Street Conglomerate, which is an excellent book. That was his debut novel. And currently Bossed Up. Now, Bossed Up is available in paperback and hardback. So you have a preference. And both books are available as an ebook, and both books are available on Amazon. Thank you very much, author.
And I'm thinking about doing a series to Street Conglomerate.
I don't think we can handle that. All right.
All right.
All right. Have a good one. I'm going to pull
Yeah.
you out.